Sefaspe Welders has sent me another stick welder. This is the MMA205SE. The last one I had, I believe, was the MMA160SE. I'll leave a link to that video here. Just want to show you everything that comes with this. We have obviously the welder. We have a chip hammer with wire brush attached. We have an adapter from 110 to 220. This will run on dual voltage. Comes with an owner's manual as well as this verification that it passed quality assurance. We have our ground cable and we have our electrode cable, as well as some welding rods. It also came with a handheld shield, but it was broken. So here in just a second, I'm going to show you the PPE that I'm going to be using in addition to using this. If you don't have PPE, I suggest you get some. Of course, I'll have links in the description below for that, but let me show you what all I will be using. As you can see, I've got gloves, I've got the helmet, and I have a jacket. One of the most important things, I think, is the auto darkening hood. That will allow us to have both hands free to stabilize and be able to put the electrode right where we want it. So just wanted to show you the PPE that I'm going to use just to keep myself safe and make things a little easier for me as we go. Let's switch gears. I'm going to put my project on here and we'll come right back. I have some spare parts here. I have a welder here. I want to put something together here to show you how this works. You're going to come along with me as I brainstorm what I'm actually going to do. I already have a little bit of an idea, but I just wanted to show you what we're going to be working with. Here I have a pile of metal spare parts. They're old. I don't want to throw them away. I want to do something kind of cool. I have a cam that is out of this LS that's in my Ranchero over here. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to clear this off. We're going to get everything hooked up on the welder. I'll show you the settings and we'll look in the manual and see if it gives us an idea. And then we're going to do some test welding on another rotor that I have. There are there are two ways you can run these machines. We are going to run it where this is ground and this is our positive. To get this hooked up, since I have the electrode, I'm going to hook that in on the positive side, and there's a little nub right here that we just need to line up. And once it goes in, you twist it to the right, tightens in there. That cable's done. On the ground, same thing. Got a little nub right here. It goes in, turn to the right. I'm going to go ahead and clamp this to the table because we will be able to get started here in just a minute actually. Let's go ahead and turn this on. I am plugged in to 110. We'll turn it on. Power's up. We're set at 30 amps. Since we're going to be trying to weld into this pretty heavy stuff here, this will go up to 208, I believe, or 205, yeah. So I'm going to go about 90. The welding rods that come with this is the 6013, which is a very versatile welding rod for steel. I purchased additional on the last machine that I used. In the back of the manual, we have a welding parameter. It's basically if you're doing the electrode type, which we're going to have steel, we're going to be welding flat, horizontal, vertical. We're not doing overhead, but it is saying between, I think we're good at 90. Yeah, we're at 90. I think we're good at 90. And then we'll just see how it penetrates and do some practice before we start putting this beautiful sculpture together. I told you earlier that I bought a better chip hammer. I did, but I can't find it. So I'm using this body hammer. It's got a nice point on it. And you'll see what we're using that for here in just a minute. And then here is a wire brush. It's just a little more robust than what comes with it. I did also find this is the face mask that comes with it. This was left over from the other one, the 160. And you can probably tell why we're not using it. This takes up a hand, and when we get to welding, you'll understand why I prefer this over this. Another thing, I used up all the welding rod when I was doing the other review. So I went out and bought these. Again, these are the 6013. It's the same as what comes with this machine. So we'll have these laying right here real close to us. I have a feeling we're going to go through them. When we are setting up the machine, your electrode will go in to the holder here. You have some options on how you attach it and what angles. And just whatever feels most comfortable to you is what you're going to want to do. And currently we are off. So the reason that you're going to want both hands is so that you can steady this end and hold this end and still have an idea where you're at. So right now we're ready to go. I just need to turn the machine on, get some gloves on, and I'm going to practice on this rotor right here, and we'll see what happens. I would also like to remind you, I am not an expert welder. I have more experience with a MIG, and I would be happy to review a MIG from Sefaspe. I'm actually hoping that comes to fruition at some point, but here we go. I'm going to turn the machine on, and we're going to see what happens. Now, if you don't know, this is a welding table. What is happening here is we've got a clamp on the table, and the current should travel through this metal part because it's on the table. And I did take a wire wheel to this, so hopefully it's clean enough that we can get some welds going here. So that wasn't wanting to penetrate at all. Don't know if that's my fault. Let me just jump into my project and see. All right, you can see I moved the ground to the workpiece just in case that's a problem. I did clean this up, and I cleaned this up. So we'll see if I can get it to at least stick together. what I'm trying to do is, you can see here where the weld went onto the camshaft but didn't want to go onto the caliper. Same here. And anyway, that's what I'm working on right now, is trying to get this to take, I'm trying to get the weld to take to the rotor. As you can tell, this is holding to that. That was my first objective. Second was trying to make these look good. I failed there. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to go around it a little bit more. I'm going to try and get this cleaned up where it looks a little nicer. And maybe I'll learn what I'm doing a little bit better. So the fun thing about teaching yourself how to do stuff is it takes a lot longer. All right, I brought you in a little bit closer, and I'm going to show you what happens when we take the hammer to the weld, and why a chip hammer is a necessary tool. So that slag that comes off there is actually the outer coating to the welding rod, and that is a shield. So that will have to be chipped off, and then once that's chipped, then we'll come through with the wire brush and give it a little cleanup here. I'm gonna go ahead and go around and do what I just did here, and then we'll come back when I'm adding more to the sculpture. I'm not real pleased with the aesthetics of that, but I'm pretty sure we're solid and it's not gonna come apart. I'm gonna clean up here and get set up for the next phase of this project. Well, here, maybe you can get an idea of what I am trying to do. And if you got that figured out, you're one step ahead of me. I'm just going to try and stick this to this, and then once that's stuck to that, then I'm going to do this side, flip it over, and then I'll get the welds on the other side. What's happening is that metal that you can see down in there needs to make contact with that metal, or at least come close to it, in order to get the arc. The machine is off. Keep this close by. But I just took a hammer and kind of knocked the end of that off. We should be able to make good contact now. I think that might have stuck. I'm gonna try to fill this in real quick. I think that might be good. So one thing I didn't think about is having another set of these so that this doesn't want to roll. I think as long as I keep this one back here, I'll be fine. And then I'll be able to pull this out and put it under there. I think we're close enough. Let's load it up and stick these two together. I think it's safe to say I'm not a great stick welder, but I can put metal together. I'm going to stand this up, we'll do some welding on the back side, and then we'll put the final touch on it before I paint it. Yo! It's getting heavy. I don't know who's going to take this down for me. But luckily I think we're about as heavy as we're going to get. So I'm just going to hit it here and here and get these solid in place. And then we'll put the next piece on. I don't know whether to drag, to push, to pull, to up versus down. Are you guys ready for the final touch? We're not here for sculpture making, we're here for this welder. So what I want to do at this point is give you my feedback on the welder. Obviously we're welding some pretty heavy metal here, and it's obvious that it's all together, it's holding itself up. And now this piece is not in its final resting place. I've decided I'm going to make a follow-up video to this where I will finalize the design, we'll get it painted. So if you want to watch that, I'll put a link at the end of this video for that video. But back to this, it comes with everything you need to start welding. It comes with the 60-13 welding rods. I think there's 5 of them. And that's about what I used on this project so far, probably 5 or 6. And I'm just using it up. I'm not trying to conserve. So one thing to consider is getting a better chip hammer, getting a better wire brush, making sure you have the proper PPE just to make life easier and safer. For the cost, this is a very budget-friendly welder, and it's very capable, very lightweight, easy to pack around. I will probably keep this in my vehicle just in case I encounter something with friends or family where they need a repair. We'll have it right there with us. In the description, look for a link for this as well as a discount code. I will also have links to all the PPE and some extra tools that will just make your welding job a little easier and better, potentially. If you have any tips for me as far as welding, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear the constructive criticism or feedback. If you want to see the video I made on the smaller version, I'll also have a link to that in the description below. And if this is something that you kind of like to watch, let me know, and maybe this will be something I can incorporate in the channel. But if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer whatever I can. And thank you for watching.